And I don't say this to insult anyone's intelligence. I teach people, from people that can barely turn a computer on to people that can write code better than I can. So first and foremost, a little bit of housekeeping. If you would throw your questions into the chat box or raise your virtual hand, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. So your KW email address. So I have Fred Wienecke at kw.com. If you weren't aware, that's a login to Google. Now, it is not your typical Google. This is what I will call a Google Business Suite Lite. It is not the Google Business Workspace. So on the screen here, you'll see that I'm logged into Google. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you see this stunning looking gentleman right there. And you'll see that I'm logged into Fred Wienecke at kw.com. When I do that, you'll see the little 9 squares right here. This opens up a suite of business tools that are provided to you. And if you weren't aware, this is part of your monthly office fee, if you will. KWRI charges us 35, 40 bucks a month, something around there, that gives us access to this. There are a lot of tools in here that we can take and we can apply to our business. So don't be afraid to get into it, check things out. My number one takeaway from Google for me personally is the Google Calendar. I live and die by my calendar, and I subscribe to the bold law that if it's not on my calendar, it what? Doesn't exist. So we're going to start up here in the 9 squares up here, and what we're looking for on the right-hand side is the Google Business page or Profile Manager right here. Looks like a little house. Can you all see that okay? Can you give me a thumbs up? We're good? Okay, awesome. Now, when I click on that, it's going to open up the Business Profile Manager. You'll see that I've got a couple of different businesses on here. I manage all of the office websites, all of the office Google profiles. Most of these are in a different Google account, but there's some remnants here. So if you have not created a Google Business page or Google Business profile, this is where we start. I want to reiterate how important it is that you do this. Whenever we want to learn something, what's the number one rule? What do? We Google it, right? Right? And this is participation. You all can jump on and answer. Yeah, we Google it, right? So when folks, consumers, are looking for real estate agents, when they're looking for properties, when they're looking for information, where are they? They're on Google. That's the biggest search engine out there. So we need to make sure that we're there, we are present. Now, you may find that as we're doing this, there's a verification process. Don't worry, I promise you we'll get through that. So from the Google business page here, on the right-hand side, you'll see a little blue button here. It says add a business. So we're going to go ahead and add that, and we're going to click add a single business. Business name. What I would suggest is use your name. Like I have Fred Wienecke Realtor. I'm a member of NAR and PAR, so I can use the term realtor. If you are not part of NAR or PAR, you can't use the terminology realtor. So don't get yourself in real estate jail on there. You want to use Fred Wienecke licensed real estate agent, something along those lines. Those are, of course, good. If you got questions about what business name you can use, I always deflect that to your broker of record for your market center and your leadership there. So for today, I'm just going to use Fred Wienecke Realtor, and we're going to create a business with this name. It's going to ask business category. Pretty easy. I'm going to type in there real estate. And it gives me a whole slew of real estate categories. I'm going to choose real estate agent. Okay. Click next. This is all very intuitive, not too crazy on here. Do you want to add a location? Now, hear me out loud and clear. You want to be friends with your market center tech trainers, your MCAs, and your leadership. So when we do this next step, when I give it an address, I'm going to use my Erie office location. It's going to ask me and say, hey, are you Keller Williams, Erie, PA? The answer is no, you're not. Because you can have multiple businesses operating in the same location. If you say yes, there's a high likelihood that you're going to hijack the office's Google business page. So please don't do that. I've had agents do that, and then it's a whole process for me to get that back. What a pain in the tuchus. Let's keep it in the, culture, right? All right, so this location shows up on Google Maps, and we're going to say, yes, I want it to show up on Google Maps. We're going to put in the street address in there. We're at 2564 Village Common Drive, Erie, Pennsylvania. Slide on down here to PA. And we hit next. And I already have this business. It already exists. So right here, it would probably say your local office on there. I'm going to say Fred Wienecke Realtor. Actually, for training purposes, let's just do this doesn't match, just so you can see what that process looks like. And then we're just going to answer the questions. Do you provide deliveries or home and office visits? Yes, we do. Add areas you serve. So keep in mind, you don't want to be covering such a large, massive area that you're going broke on gas money, right? So think about the communities that you serve. Where are you? Are you in the city of Harrisburg proper? Are you in Bluebell? Are you in Downingtown? Are you in Coatesville? You know, that whole area. And yes, I'm very familiar. If y'all see my cell phone, I have a Downingtown 610 area code on there. So I want to make sure what areas you put in there. And you can put more than one area. You'll see right here on the bottom, you can change or add more areas later on. I'm just going to put Erie, PA for now. Okay, how do you want customers to contact you? I'm going to hit skip on here because, again, I already have a page. I'm just going through this so you all can see what that process is. Make sure that you use the office and the business number. We want to be in compliance with Pennsylvania real estate law, right? So here I would put in my cell phone. Later on, we're going to put in the office phone number on there. Website optional. Yeah, you can put your KW website on there. So everybody in KW has a Keller Williams website. They're typically first name, last name, .kw.com. I actually use Blue Roof's 360's product, which I absolutely love. So I use fredwienecke.com. What's really important here to understand is these words and these values and the information we're adding in here becomes searchable. We want to make sure that it's really simple. I'm a military veteran in the military. We had an acronym called KISS, Keep It Simple, Stupid. So we want to make sure that our websites are very simple, easy to find. So I'm just going to hit skip for now. All right, maybe it's not going to let me. Next. Awesome. Yay. We got stuck there. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a whole new Fred Wienecke business here. My apologies. Bear with me while I get caught back. See y'all.
Yeah, no problem.
And I do cover the Pittsburgh area, so I'm just going to create one for your Pittsburgh. Some cheaters on there, Fred. Ooh, look, I can see. Yes. Now I've got to put in our new address because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Fred, while you're working on this, we did have a question.
Sure, fire away.
Mike's in the room here with us. He was wondering thoughts on effectiveness of using a chat box and should he use one on his site? Do you have any feedback on that?
Yes. Again, I love the acronym Keep It Simple, Stupid. So if you are tech savvy, there are a lot of chat products that we can put on a website. Some of them are really detail oriented, where you can actually build out the framework of the conversation. If you're not tech savvy, I would avoid that. I've done that in the past where you prompt it, give a selection of questions, and based on the answers that the consumer uses, absolutely. And then you just map that out. One of the other products out there that used to be available to us was Facebook. You could actually put Facebook Messenger on things. Unfortunately, Facebook has killed that product. I was super disappointed when they did that because I use that on all my websites. I just had my Facebook Instant Messenger or Chat Messenger on there. And of course, that was on my phone, so I could quickly grab those leads. We know it is speed to lead, right? We always want to grab that lead as quickly as we possibly can. So yes, again, if you are tech savvy and you want to go down that road, absolutely. I'm a big proponent. What are the three L's out of the MREA, right? Listings, leads, and of course, leverage. So technology can leverage our business. Technology will never replace an agent, but an agent using technology will replace agents that don't use technology. Hopefully that answered your question there. Sweet 200, there we go. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. All right, so again, you'll see here's Mike Netzel team. Here's Keller Williams Wexford, right? I don't want to select any of those because I don't want to hijack. This is the market centers. This is Mike Netzel's team. I don't want to hijack anybody else's business page. So I'm just going to hit next. None of those. Okay. Yes, we're going to do deliveries and all that kind of good stuff in there. Areas that I want to cover. I'm just going to put Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because, well, I'm an animal like that and I'll drive anywhere. Okay. We're going to put my cell phone in there. And then I'm going to put my website in there. Now, when you're adding a website, one thing I would suggest you do is open up another tab on your computer, open up the website that you want to put in there and copy that URL right from the website. Because sometimes there's some uniqueness. Sometimes they want the HTTPS, sometimes they want www dot what have you. So I'm just going over to my website and I'm copying it directly out of there. Makes life a lot easier. And in this format, they took the HTTPS and www dot. So let's hit next. Fantastic, Google. You are causing me grief. Maybe.
I will put myself out there. I do not have like a Google thing to, so I'm doing this with you, Fred, and I'm running into the same issue.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you click reload page, it
Takes you
like
back
takes
to the
you all the
beginning.
way back to the beginning. Yeah, super fun.
Okay,
So, yeah, it's not
that's
just you.
all right, good. I feel better that it's not just me.
Thank you
So I'm
for
going
sharing
to pause
that.
this here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video once I get this cleaned up. I'm going to share it with you all so you can push that out there. So my apologies. I broke Google, I guess. I don't know. That's really weird. I'm not sure why that has frozen on me. So my apologies. I'm going to take and fast forward a little bit, and we're going to pick up here. We're going to jump back to Google. Now, this was a change in Google a few years ago. Not a big fan of it. In fact, most of us that are fairly tech savvy hated this. Where your Google business page lives now is in the Google search engine. Ugh, gross. So I'm going to come up here to Google and I'm going to Google myself. And now here's my Google business page. It lives right in the Google search. From here, what I would encourage you to do, the areas that I would focus on is let's make sure that we have plenty of photos on here. Add photos, your new listings, your just solds, happy client pictures. Google loves Google. So the more Google resources you use and the more things you implement in Google, that's going to help you show up higher on the Google search engine. So adding things in there, putting a Google Calendar on there so that clients could book with you. So let's just kind of go through this. Let's hit edit profile. Let's assume that we fast forwarded, we got your business page set up. We're going to hit edit profile right here. Here's where we can edit that information. We can add more details, our hours of operation and things like that. So I have a little quick little description about myself, put my opening start date in there. Here's where you would add your chat box on there. I'm using a couple tools that I'm testing right now. So if y'all want to connect with me on Facebook, I do share information out there. I also share stuff out at the regional level too, as I come up with things in there. Social profiles, really important. Get your Facebook profile URL. So you'd go over to the Facebook, click on your profile page, and that URL that's on there, that's what I've added right here. Can you add more social profiles on it? Sure can. Little drop down menu here. If you're on the Insta, the Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, the tickety tockety, the more that you put on there, the better. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're not an agent that's Instagram and tickety tocketing and all those things, doesn't mean you need to run out tomorrow and go do all of this. No, stick to what works for you. If you're doing well on Facebook, stick with Facebook. If you love Insta and Twitter, use them. The more the better. However, don't go out there and try and be somebody that you're not. If you're not out there and a food critic and all of those different kind of things, yeah, I probably wouldn't tie that in here. So you just select them. LinkedIn, if you log into your LinkedIn account, there's actually a profile URL in there. You can add that on there. WhatsApp. Okay, let's have a little chat about WhatsApp on there. Personally, this is just Fred Wienecke's personal belief. I don't use the WhatsApp. There's so much fraud and so much nonsense with that. I wouldn't encourage you to use that. We're going to hit cancel on there. Here's my address here in the Erie office. Check when you put in your address of your office location. Ours was a little funky. It tried to put the pin somewhere where our office wasn't. So make sure that you get that pin dropped exactly where you're at. And you can edit that. Service area, here's where we could add more service areas. So Erie, although we're the 4th largest city in Pennsylvania, we're not a thriving metropolis. I might add in areas like Harbor Creek and Northeast and Mill Creek, Fairview, Girard. These are just the cities right next to us as we wrap around the lake there. Office hours. All right, let's step into culture a little bit. Part of Keller Williams' philosophy is God, family, and business. God, that is whatever that is for you. I'm not here to lecture or preach on that. Then the family. If I go on here and I put that I'm available Sunday through Saturday, 24 hours a day, am I really honoring my family? This is just Fred's personal belief, and it is in line with Keller Williams. I put true office hours in there. After 5 o'clock, I turn into a pumpkin. I don't work after those hours. And I get pushback from agents. They'll say, well, how can you do that? Have you ever tried to schedule with your dentist at 7 o'clock at night because that's the time you're available? You're not going to get a 7 o'clock a dental appointment. You're not going to get an appointment with your doctor, your physician, etc. after hours. Maybe an attorney if you're in trouble, but that's going to cost you through the nose. So think about realistic, what are your business hours? Most folks, in fact, the clients that I work with, I let them know. Friday night, 6 o'clock on my Google Calendar, that's date night with my wife. And I'm sorry, you're important to me. She's more important than you are. And you know what? Your consumers understand that. I'll get off my soapbox. All right. Special hours. Maybe, you want to have some calling hours. You want to have Saturday morning and you just drop in and you want people to stop in. You can add some special hours on there. You can add in more hours and things like that. I am a disabled veteran, so you can identify from the business. It can be a woman-owned business, minority business, put all of those keywords in there. Accessibility, yep, we have a handicapped accessible bathroom, we have seating, etc. Amenities, the crowd. Let's stay away from political conversations, but you can click on crowd here and choose the items that you align yourself with. We're going to skip on that. Parking, we have free parking here, appointment required, and you're literally just going through step by step and answering all of those questions. All right. Reviews. Oh my gosh. This is so ridiculously important. Google reviews are like, you'll see I got a solid 5.0. I only have 6 reviews on there, but Google reviews matter. Do we bat 100% of the time and do a great job for all of our clients all the time. And are they happy all the time? No. On occasions, we'll have a client that has maybe unrealistic expectations and things like that. So if you see a negative review on there, let's respond professionally. Mea culpa. My apologies. I'm sorry that I missed your expectations. We have some negative Google reviews on our office pages. Consumers that had unrealistic
Hey, Jason,
expectations.
this is Monica here with Keller.
Thank you. So interact with them as well. So Colleen Fernandi, her mom and stepdad are my boat mechanics. They know me, they know my reputation in the community. And Colleen and Matt used me. I sent them a link. They gave me great reviews. So reviews are important. And look, I responded to it, personalized. So make sure, and you can add pictures in here. Here's my clients. They added a picture of me. Here we are. There's my go-to lender and Ozzy. Can you see, are you seeing my screen there? Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure when it flipped through there. Interact with all of these folks and they're super important.
And Fred, what are your opinions on, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have done a transaction with someone for them to leave you a specific Google review. Correct?
100%.
You
100%.
you
Yep.
can request Google reviews from people who can speak to your character and your integrity and things of that sort. You don't necessarily have had to have sat at the settlement table with them.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's a great point. So, for those of you that don't really know me, I'm huge in the veteran community. My wife and I have a nonprofit. We work with the Veterans Miracle Center here. Like, I do a lot of those things. I haven't asked for reviews for folks that I've done other things with, but that's a great point. Absolutely. In fact, I may start doing that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You know, people want to know the character of your being. And when they see on there, oh, Fred's a military veteran and he puts up ramps for disabled veterans. He's down at the Soldiers and Sailors Home and he's doing volunteer work and all of those things. It gives a great, well-rounded view of who you are. So thank you. Perfect. To get more reviews, really simple. Click right here. It's going to create a QR code, gives me a Google review link that I can put out in an email. I can put it out on Facebook. Really, really simple to do.
Can you show that one more time?
Sure. Are you seeing the window there? Okay, cool. So I was in read reviews, and right here it says get more reviews. This is going to give me, I can do it in an email, I can use WhatsApp, I can use Facebook, I can just cut and paste that URL. I can put that QR code out there and ask for folks to review. All right, photos. Again, highly recommend adding photos. There's a view of my office. It's an old view. I probably should get some updated video views on there. You can add logos, you can add videos. The more you put on there, the better. Now, you'll see on here, it says, hey, Google wants you to start advertising. Here's just Fred's personal view on this. I would use Google Ads in Command. Inside of Command, you can build out Google Ads. Here's what I'll say about those. It takes time for those to start getting a little speed on there. Are they expensive? Yes, they are. They're around $250 a month. Yeah. Quick math for me. Think about what your average referral fee is. You know, if you're paying 20% referral fee, are you spending $1,000 on a referral fee? Maybe I just put aside another $1,000 and I run a Google ad through Command for 4 months on there. It will take time for that to start getting generated. But here's what I love about doing it through Command. Where do those leads go? They go into my Command. Can I set up rules inside of Command using smart plans and my lead management system so that I can interact with the folks that are interacting with me based on that Google ad? Absolutely. I can use Twilio inside a command to text them, hey, thank you for the review, or thanks for reaching out. Here's my contact information. I can send them an introductory email. So much that I can do inside of command. Command today is so much different than when it first rolled out, for those of you that were around back then. So I would highly encourage you, get together with your MCTT. They're lovely people, your trainers, your PC coaches, your team leaders. Dive into command. There's great tools in there. So here you can just hit view all photos. You'll see what I put in there. Just have a view from the outside and office on there. You can add all kinds of photos on there. The more, the merrier.
So Andrew posted a question. He wants to know, can he add an old listing photo, just the front?
You can, but just be very cautious about that. I might reach out to the existing homeowner and say, hey, I was a listing agent at 123 Main Street. I'd like to use your photo, the photo that I took of your property. Would that be okay with you? Right? What's one of our main jobs? Lead generation, right? Could I interact with that consumer? Could I start building a relationship with them? Absolutely. There are opportunities to build your database everywhere you turn. So I think it is better in this case to ask for permission rather than forgiveness. Some folks are real nervous about having a picture of their house on the internet. No. Can they
I
really
love
stop
that.
that?
Thank you.
No, but I would maybe position the picture in such a way that maybe it's my yard sign and it's got my information where it's not super crazy clear. But again, I would encourage you to reach out to the owner and ask for permission ahead of time. So great. Thank you for that. Great question. All right. There's a performance on here, and it's going to tell me how many interactions I've had through my Google business page. Now, I don't want to go all techie, nerdy, and kind of go way over everybody. If you really want to nail this at a high level and you're fairly tech savvy and you want to build this out, you really want to look into Google Analytics. It is a tool free to you to use. Free is one of my favorite words. Free food, free drinks, I'm in. So Google Analytics is an amazing tool. It helps you submit your website, your Google business page, all of that for review. And I'll stop there. Lots more to that. If you'd like more information, please reach out again to your MCTTs, your team leaders. You can always Google it too. Google will teach you how to use Google Analytics. I love it. It tells me performance on my website, how well are my pages doing. So you can see in January 25, we had a bump there. Cool, love that. So these are usually relative to your activities. If you add more photos on there, things that you're doing, you're going to see a bump in that. All right. Calls. You'll see I've got no calls. People typically call me directly from my cell phone on there. Bookings. Again, if you use a calendar on there, I don't. You could use that. Directions. How many people have asked for directions to the office? Looks like most of my interactions, people were trying to find directions. Website clicks. Ooh, February, I got 6 clicks. Of course, this is our slow time of the year. All right. Advertisements. You can advertise directly through Google, but again, I would encourage you to think about using command. Better spend for your dollar. Edit products on here. You can add posts and things like that on here. So for example, maybe I want to do an open house or something like that. Put it on there. Landing page and URL. What landing page would I use? I use my Keller Williams landing page. If you don't have a website, you can add photos and things like that on there. Next one, editing services. What are the things that you provide? You know, in Pittsburgh, down where y'all live in Harrisburg, you've got some water around there. So do you have river lots and things around that? You guys aren't too far from Raystown Lake, right? You're pretty close, maybe an hour's drive, something like that. So do you cover that area? Do you do Airbnbs? Do you do rentals? Do you do commercial work? Put all of the things on there. that you actually do, not the things that you'd like to do. So if you're not a commercial agent, KWI Commercial has very strict rules around that. Don't go out there and try and build yourself as a commercial agent, especially if you have no experience in there. Reach out to your office commercial agents for help there. First time home buyer services. You can just click on here, add more services, and here you go. You could add a custom service on there. One of the things that I'm going to update, I'm glad we're doing this class because as I look at this, I think I've got a lot of opportunities here to improve my own stuff. I do a lot of VA loan classes. I do a lot of veteran work on there, so I might put in there veteran services and things like that.
And so Fred, by utilizing like all of these tabs and clicking on all of these things and updating as much as you can, is that ultimately going to help then when people are searching? It's going to be pulling these triggers that you're checking as part of your profile, right?
100%. And you should be going in there now. This is not practicing what I preach. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of excuses. No, I won't, right? We can have excuses or results. You want results, get in there and update this on a regular basis. I haven't been real great about that, but the more you update, the more photos you add, the more events and all of the different things that you add on there, the better. So maybe calendar this. Say, hey, every Friday morning at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. prior to my lead generation time slot, I want to add a new picture on there. I want to spruce this up. I'm going to use my ex-mother-in-law's Italian, zhuzh it up, make it a little fancier, add those kind of pieces in there. Bookings, so you can create bookings on here. I use Calendly. I love Calendly. High level. Ooh, okay. Let's step out of culture for a moment. High level is trash. Do not waste money on it. Okay. Q&A. Put questions out there. Have you thought about buying an investment property? This is opportunities for folks to interact with us. Make sure that we're answering those questions. And by the way, this is all mobile. You can put it on your phone. So your Google business page, all of that, you can edit all of these things from Google on your phone. Doesn't matter what device you're using. You can use an Apple product or an Android product. Android, now I'm an Apple user. Android products are a little bit better in this because they're Google based.
Yeah. So Andrew is interested in knowing why high level is trash. And then my question would be, aside from the high level, can I then link my Calendly? Will it take a different product?
So I'm a test dummy for the Market Center, and we signed up for high level, found out it was a giant waste of money. You know, KW, MREA, right? Red light, green light. And so we spent some money on it, didn't work out really well. So let's check out bookings. Let's see. Get started. So it looks fairly simple. I've not done this, but it's step by step on there. It does look like I need to do some kind of verification. For some reason, it's missing that on mine.
Yep.
Google's very simple. Everything is just go right through, click, click, click on there.
So interestingly enough, if you can scroll back up to where you had that red error message, that verification process has been the thorn in my side for one of the agents sitting in the room in today's training.
Okay.
We have struggled and struggled and struggled. You know, as a tech trainer, I feel like I have failed him not being able to get this accomplished. He's had agents who have their account verified help him. It hasn't worked. What are we missing? And
Sure.
yeah,
So
what
the
are we?
most successful way I've found to do this is make sure that you're logged into your Google account on your phone. And it's going
Oh,
to ask you to shoot a video. It's going to ask you to take pictures. It's going to ask you to show you unlocking the door or and or showing a piece of mail. And so what I do is I ask my MCAs because we have 8 offices. I can't be in all places. So my MCAs are rock stars. I love them. They are the heart of our organization. I give them the login and password. They'll log right into their Google business account, right in on their phone, and it'll walk you through. It's going to create a link on there for you to shoot a video. It's going to ask for a street view, picture of the front door, all of those things. And we have a high level of success with that. In fact, I don't have anybody that once they've taken those steps, it didn't work for them. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, we did do that and we weren't able to get it,
It is.
oh, it
It
is?
is. It
Okay.
just took a long-
Okay,
a while.
okay, it did, okay, it
happened
did.
instantly.
It did, okay, so it takes a while, I guess, for that verification once we,
Show you.
once we send that in.
Yep. You also can get a card in the mail. Please just make sure you let your MCAs know, hey, there should be a Google business card for me. It's not spam or
It's not-
junk or anything like,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
there'll be a verification code on there that you'll need.
Perfect, and then we have one more question from the room here.
Sure.
So when you first started with creating or getting to the business icon through your Keller Williams email address, could you go through those steps again? Because I can do it on my personal Gmail. I can get that business logo to pop up, but I can't get it to work for Keller Williams.
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let me jump over to another page here. Let's go over here. We'll do the home screen. So when you're on Google up here in the upper right hand corner, are you able to log into your Google, your KW email here? When you click login here or add account, are you able to log in there? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, yes.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so once you do that, the Google Business may not populate here. If you scroll down to the bottom, more from Google Workspace, it'll bring up this page here and you can just search in Google Business. We should find Google Business on here. It may not pop on my screen because I already have it. But you should see Google Business on there looking just like this house. Where did it go? Our Google, okay, Google Profile Manager. Let's try that. Are you seeing that on your end?
I'm not for some reason.
Okay,
Yeah.
do me a favor. Would you share out my Calendly link
I will.
to your
Yep.
folks there? And I'll absolutely, so just go on my Calendly link and just do a general tech question and I'll do a one-on-one with you. We'll dive in and we'll figure out what's going on there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Not a problem. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know why that wasn't showing up there because it should be right there as you're scrolling down, but
Yeah, I have my personal and the Keller Williams open side by side, and the one works and the other one's not. So
That's
who
crazy.
knows, I could maybe log out and it all fix itself.
okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. More than happy to. And if you wouldn't mind sharing out my email, if you have trouble finding a spot on my calendar, I do virtual office hours personally twice a week, and my right hand does them Wednesday morning. So we can always jump into my virtual office hours. More than happy to help you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get back over to. All right, so we can add updates on there, pretty easy. If you want to put some posts and things on there, if you've got an event coming up, here's your open house, put it on there. Ask for reviews, again, that just gives us the link on there. When you Google yourself, what comes up? Do you get a page that looks like this for, I didn't catch a name. Whoever was asking was having the issue with the Google business page.
Yeah, that's,
I do not, I come up on all the real estate apps, but I hadn't set up a Google review page yet. And I thought I needed to go through those process, so that's why I was looking for the icon, so.
Sure.
Yeah,
So if you Google yourself, you don't find this.
nope, I just tried that, yeah.
Okay, awesome. More than happy. We'll get you squared away on that.
Appreciate it.
Yep, not a problem. All right, opening up the floor to any other questions. There's not much more that I have to offer on that.
And so, as far as the Google reviews go, they're gonna live in the Google world, and
Mhm.
people will find those on Google. And yet, correct me if I'm wrong, we can take those Google reviews and we can then put them in other places like our website, like our, I don't know, our Facebook page, whatever.
Yep.
We can take that content because it's ours, it's been given to us. We can take that content and we can distribute that in other places as well, right?
Yes. Hey, let me give you another freebie for you all out there because you know I
Yeah.
love free stuff. So let me find it here. Give me a minute while I locate it. There's actually a service out there. Here it is. I will drop the link in the chat box of our meeting so you all have that. Where did our chatty box go? There it is. Right click, paste. There's a tool out there called Sociable Kit. I haven't used this in a while, but you can log in using your Google information. And what we've done with this is it can automagically put your reviews on websites out there. Now, again, I haven't touched this in a while. This is a free tool. Free, it's for me. So you do a login here, and how this shows up, I'm not going to do a deep class on this. If you want to learn more, I'm more than happy to help you out. But I want you to see what this looks like. I'm going to use Fred Amendola's website in our office, fredamendola.com. And up here, client testimonials. This is directly using the Sociable toolkit, and it automatically pulls the reviews over to here.
Oh, I love that.
It does create, there's HTML or JavaScript coding. Now, I know things are changing on your KW website, so more to come on that, but it basically creates a code that we can drop on here. And you get your reviews on there. You can adjust the layout of this. You can do color coding on there. How many do you want on there? Here's a trick. You can post only your 4 and 5 star reviews if you should like.
That's awesome.
So, and if you want to learn more about Sociable, it's a great tool. You can YouTube it, great trainings out there on there. And I think it just does one feed for free. So if you want to use more places, absolutely, I would sign up. Money well worth spent, right? That leads, listings, and leverage. That leverage is the important one for me.
Love that.
Cool. Any other questions out there, folks?
Zoomland, any questions? All right, I hope that this was helpful, Fred. I'm gonna connect you with Tony to help him out if you don't mind. And I'll have a recording of this put on the YouTube channel for anyone that maybe missed it or wants to go back and rewatch it. But this was really, really great. Any last questions or comments before we go? All right.
Okay.
You get 15 minutes of your day back. Fred, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. After you stop the recording, I have another question for the gentleman there who needs some help.
Love it.